Much delay, sorry about that, guys, but thank you for sticking with us here at ESA Marathon, ESA Winter 20. I have two of the chillest dudes that I brought here with me. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey, I'm Dusler.
What's up? I'm Big John.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I believe that is everything up here working? Like, is the timer button working? Okay, all right, so I'm going to just give a count off from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Sure.
Good enough.
All right, so this is Mega Man 9, guys, and if you're saying this is a classic Mega Man, but like, where the heck have I seen this before? Probably 10 years ago. This game came out in 2008 for the Nintendo Wii, the PlayStation 3, and the Xbox 360 Entertainment System. However, it did get ported to Legacy Collection 2, which is a bit easier accessible. I can use the controller that I want to. So we're doing this. And that's to the left.
Nice.
Cool, cool, cool.
Beyonce said it best, dude.
But immediately we can tell from the other Mega Man games that we're actually playing a red guy. And this red guy is named Proto Man. Proto Man is actually a lot better in this game, because you can do a lot more things with them, like sliding, covering a lot of horizontal ground, as you can see here. You can raise your shield up whenever you jump to deflect enemy projectiles. And he also has, cool shades and a scarf and like all that. So, he's well equipped for the weather that you're seeing here in Tornado Man stage, where it's a bit wet with the snow.
It's worth pointing out that while Proto Man does have advantages, they didn't want to give him too much of an advantage. So a couple disadvantages he has is that his Buster firearm is slightly lower than Mega or Rock's, and he can only shoot 2 bullets on screen at a time, or 3, I mean. And
well, no, you are correct.
His hitbox is actually a little bit shorter and wider than Mega Man's, and on top of that, he suffers double knockback. Yeah,
double knockback, double the damage. So, I mean, like if you were looking at our Guacamelee run, the first run of ESA, we like playing our glass cannons. We're coming up to Tornado Man right now. He can give us a bit of a janky pattern if he wants to, but if he wants to stay on the ground, we'll show you the true power. No, okay, never mind. No. Triple jump. No.
So when those tornadoes are being shot up by Tornado Man, the mechanic is that they actually give you almost underwater mechanics for jumping. So the spikes on the ceiling are a really viable way for Bobby to get bopped, but nice fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty good fight. It's really easy to buster down a lot of the enemies in this game, especially a lot of the boss enemies, because they have a really, really small amount of invulnerability once they suffer damage. I think about like 17 frames or like something like that. But what we got from Tornado Man was a Tornado Blow. Though while extremely finite in its usage, we actually picked this up a bit earlier in the game in order for it to carry us, legitimately carry us through the rest. However, you're not going to be seeing much of that stage utility because this is actually Magma Man's weakness.
There is no change in the stages for Proto Man as well. They took his character, all the different design changes, and just slapped them into the exact same levels as Mega Man had when the game was first released. So a lot of the different mechanics that the level have to stop you, like the beams that are coming up here from lava, Proto Man makes pretty quick use of those, as opposed to Mega Man, where you don't really have the speed to bypass a lot of them.
Yeah, you would have the concrete shot in order to freeze these magma pillars, which you can use as like a foothold, or you can use for a really cool zip. But Proto Man can just like slide over them. Coming up is Chanky Dragon. That's the actual dragon's name. All mini bosses in this game have 15 HP, and our Charge Buster deals a total of 3 damage. So it was a pretty decent pattern from him.
That boss is really difficult to buster down with both characters, but with Proto Man's little sidearm being so much lower, you really have to know where he's shooting at and time that wave that the dragon has.
Oh, that's a new one. It's okay. In the last run in the marathon, I died in Magma Man stage too. It's fine.
It's just tradition at this point. You gotta keep it going.
Well, since we're backtracking here, how about we read a couple donations?
Why not? We have $10 from Ravens AZ, who says, donating to a good cause. Shout out to Big John Blacktastic for their Mega Man runs. Shout out to the Black Brigade and the Gold Patrol Hype. We have a $5 donation from Anonymous, who writes, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Luminous Avenger IX run. I haven't seen a speedrun of that game before. Glad I managed to catch the Mega Man runs too. As are we. Thank you very much.
You notice Bobby paused there slightly so he would have full charge when he came into the door. Having Tornado Blow here as opposed to Buster makes this fight pretty much trivial.
Yeah, then that's it. So while the Tornado Blow is a little bit lame in its usage against bosses, now we get to the real meat and potatoes of our DPS, which is the Magma Bazooka. So if you are a fan of Mega Man 2, you already know about that fire weapon, how you can charge it up to about 3 levels of usage. This pretty much times it by 3. You get a 3-shot spread. Whenever you charge up those pellets, they deal 3 each for a total of 9, which is really, really good for bustering down mini bosses. So coming up is Hornet Man stage. This stage is actually like really, really chill to like progress through. However, there is a kind of a costly mini boss, which I guess I can get into here. So we call it the God Flower. It's on a clock, basically. You can spawn on either one of 8 platforms. Oh, that was really tricky. Either one of 8 platforms, and about a couple of those platforms are like the fastest to kill them at. So we're gonna see if we have RNG.
The question is it a clock or a compass? And that was actually the best pattern that we could have right there. So Godflower it is.
Do something risky here.
Boy.
There we go.
Taking full advantage of that slide as he makes his way through these platforms. Okay.
All right, now we're going to see a little bit of like the utility of T-Blow. As you can see, I can jump majorly high in the air, having those air currents carrying me. But that also wipes out all like small projectiles and small enemies on the screen, which is I'm also really thankful for.
And any time that's on the screen, it's not like he gets a one jump and done. If it's on the screen and he does a small hop, he can use it again.
So this is Hornet Man. So, I mean, in typical fashion, we're not done with the bees yet, right, John?
Never done with the bees.
Nice. Sure, that's fine. Again, like the Magma Bazooka is just extremely useful in its DPS against enemies, and we're going to be using that for a lot of the later stages, especially Wily. Quick donation?
Indeed, we've got a $20 special from Don's House of Awesome.
What up, Don?
Yeah, who says, really enjoying this Mega Man block so far and looking forward to enjoying ESA all week. Put this donation to whichever version of Bloodstained Bobby prefers to run later this week. Just kidding. Put it towards and get to only.
Love it, love it, love it. Thanks, guys. Shout outs to the brigade. All right, so a little bit of like history of the Splash Woman. So the route that I'm running now was actually like only discovered about like a few handful like years ago. When we actually started realizing the actual utility of the T-Blow. However, the long-standing world record of this game was by some Japanese runner by the name of Agowath. He used the Japanese blues mode and used Splash Woman as first, and that's because Splash Woman has like a sort of like innate weakness to like the Buster. She takes about 2 bits of damage per, and even greater with the charge shot.
Yeah, normally and I guess traditionally in classic Mega Man games, bosses will have a primary weakness, and they'll also have a secondary weakness. Primary weaknesses, generally there obviously are caveats to this rule, but they generally deal 4 damage, and then like with the Buster will deal 2 damage as opposed to 1. But since we have Hornet from Hornet Man in the boss order that Bobby's currently doing, then we're going to go ahead and hopefully get some good luck on our side and have that go down.
I want y'all to know about that last vertical section you did in the water. That's not intended. You use that Proto board to just skip the cycles and whatnot. It's a really slow section, and that's really impressive, too.
Yeah, it's a bit reminiscent and akin to the Mega Man 5 like Wave Man bubble skip with the S arrow. This is a little bit easier, obviously, but you know, a little bit reminiscent of it.
No need to downplay it, man.
Yeah. It's hard as heck, man.
Those small bubbles disappear if you stand on them too long, and you're supposed to ride the slow, large bubbles all the way to the top. Shout-outs to the first female robot master.
First bees.
And yep, the bees betray you. Yeah, I mean, she's a little bit aware of her weakness, so she sends out these little, like, you know, flare fishes that can distract the hornets. But if you stay a little bit close and on her tail, then I'm sorry, that's just so bad.
Come on, man.
Another quick donation.
Yeah, right. So we've got you read my mind, man. We've got $50 from SNES today, who says, "Greetings from America. First-time viewer, fifth-time donator here. Happy to send this to wherever he cast. Excited to see TheBlacktastic playing the cool version of Mega Man 9.
Damn right.
Y'all are killing me.
I mean, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Thanks very much for the donation, man.
All right, Concrete Man stage. Got a little bit of a trick that I do here. I'm gonna just keep going with the Magma Bazooka. Slowly charge all the way up. That's a really smooth first round. But now we're going to be showing you the true utility, as there are a total of 3 mini bosses in a row. They're all the same guy. They're elephants. Bye.
Yeah, when you play Mega Man, you do concrete first, and you have to use the buster on those. And needless to say, having the Magma Bazooka here makes everybody just mentally way better.
Yeah, if you're not a mashing god, play Proto Man.
I believe there's been 2 people that have mashed through that without stopping before, so it's not easy.
All right, so we're switching down to the Laser Trident. Also a really strong weapon in its own right, dealing about 3 damage, and also having the unique ability to just pass through any sort of like barriers, enemies, and just stick in solid walls. This is Concrete Man's weakness, and hopefully he'll give us a pattern where we'll be able to double hit with one of the tridents.
Yeah, keep the Laser Trident in mind later. It helps us later on for sure, too.
Up.
Stay down, dude.
It's all right.
Not bad.
It's all right.
Pattern, yeah.
Like the thing about Mega Man 9 is that there's just little bits of like RNG just thrown out like in like little bits of like the run. So whether it's like a boss or whether it's like an enemy placement, like little things can trip you up like that. But,
yeah, it's unfortunate. He just has to react to whatever pattern the boss gives him, and if it's non-favorable like that, and you'll see it coming up in Galaxy as well, where we can just lose time just because we entered the room on the wrong frame, and it's like you can't really do anything about that.
Though this is a really fun stage, Galaxy Man stage, but yeah, the pacing just all comes to a head with the Galaxy Man boss fight. However, you do get to see a little bit more utility with the T-blow. Again, no need to like climb up this ladder. I like to save this T-blow for this, so we can wipe the enemies off this stage, or rather this part of this stage. Do some nice platforming there. Switch over to the coil here. We got helicopter ride. Helicopter ride. Quickest way to traverse, not even sliding is faster than that, so might as well let them take us where they want us to go. Oh, not there.
Didn't mention it earlier, but notice Blacktastic also hopping off the top of ladders whenever he can. So when you get to the top of a ladder in this game, it uses the Mega Man 2 mechanics, and you actually pause at the top of the ladder for like 6 frames, and by jumping you immediately gain speed off of that, so he's jumping as much as possible just to avoid that slowdown.
And it's really cool. It's really cool that the amount of runners for this game all kind of use like different strats, especially in Galaxy Man stage. The world record holder right now, Slurpee Ninja, uses a lot of the concrete shot. Whenever you like stick it to walls or attack an enemy with it, just create a small solid platform for you to jump on for really precise maneuvering.
Shoutouts to Slurp. Smooth.
See if I can get to smooth. Nope.
Oh yeah.
All right. What's it going to be with Galaxy Man? 1 swoop, 2 swoop, or no swoops? No swoops is just abysmal.
We're going
but the
full
2 swoops.
Cheryl, dude. Cheryl.
2 swoops, let's go.
Two
Earth one.
swoops, Cheryl.
It's all right. We got the happy.
Ooh, want the full halfie, dog.
Yeah. That's Galaxy Man. We get the black hole bomb, but let's also read through a couple of donations while we're waiting.
Yeah, let's do that. We've got $25 from Eric M. Hunter, who says, "Hey, Blacktastic.
Hi.
First time runner, long time money. Here's to welcoming to the fold."
Welcome to the fold, as always.
Hi.
Thanks very much for the donation. And we've got $10 from King Gingy, who says, "Shout out to the Blacktastic reppin' dem Cleveland boys."
Yo, Ginge! Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Can't wait to see you back home, dog. So this is Jewel Man Stage. Jewel Man Stage has a really, really jaunty tune to it, but that's pretty much like all that there is to it. This is probably like my worst, not my worst, but like my least preferred stage. However, you still get to see that T-blow utility, wiping enemies off the stage, and it's just a really good stage to just have Proto Man cover all of this ground with the dashing. That was actually a really precise jump there. But we're going to be carrying this last little bit of T-blow reserve for a pretty, pretty tricky jump. Normally you'd have to, kind of seesaw your way to get the right height on these platforms. However, we have T-blow. Now for the cheese ball.
Peace.
Oh boy. Why didn't I jump there?
So by using the Hornet Chaser here, he can pinpoint the cheese ball's position. It is random when he enters the room, but...
All right, now for the worst room in the game, you gotta make sure that these diamonds kind of not hit you, especially with like as low health as I have. Now, like we were mentioning at the beginning of the run, this is kind of critical health for Proto Man. Proto Man does indeed suffer double the damage and double the knockback as his Blue Bomber counterpart. And I need just about enough, and I do have enough. I need just about enough to take one more bit of damage here. There we go.
Got to get past that big mama.
And now we're on the Jewel Man. Jewel Man kind of has like the same, like AI as like some certain robot masters. Whereas if you jump, he jumps. We're gonna be using this, kind of manipulate him. Hopefully we get a double hit here. Nice, awesome. So Jewel Man's weapon is the Jewel Satellite, which is your essential, leaf shield. Very, projectiles just covering Proto Man. There's actually a pretty good usage for it in the beginning of Wily 1, but we already have like a Proto shield. We can already like reflect projectiles and all that stuff, and we already kind of know what we're doing. So we're not going to be using it all that much instead of like outside of its intended usage. Plugman, again, Yoku blocks. They really suck, especially in this stage where. As soon as I enter the stage, they're all going. So even if they're off screen, I kind of have to maneuver in a precise way so that I can kind of time myself and platform accordingly. So I'm just going to be trying to meet that sort of criteria now. That's a good sign.
We like it.
Nice. But we're not out of the woods yet. There's still a whole bunch of Yoku blocks. There's still a bunch of maneuvering. So let's just take this Protojet out for a ride.
You also notice Bobby jumping off of every platform here. So Proto gains fall speed as he falls. Hello, right? Gravity. But the higher you jump, the more you'll gain. So you actually end up going a little faster if you jump off those ledges and just run right off of them.
Almost done.
I do dig his like surfboard, the whole animal cruelty thing with the dog is kind of whack. But
Perfect play.
They're robot dogs, man.
Big Mama slide, and then we're just gonna use this J satellite. We do like 1840. That's not a terrible time.
I heard this is a real hard boss right here.
Because
I got a chuck.
Jewels.
We gotta run them jewels, right?
Nice.
Can't wait. Are you going to run the jewels Rage Against the Machine?
I don't know if I can. It's like,
Word.
you got tickets.
Got a big donation if you're ready.
Yeah, we got the.
All right, so we've got a big donation and big comments. We've got $155. It's from Mr. Cab 55. Thank you very much.
Tip of the cap.
And yeah, tip the tap to the cap. And he writes, I'm back to watch more Blacktastic, whose broadcasts are always bombastic. He charges his buster with all of that luster and turns the bot into record plastic.
Bars. Shout out to Daddy Cam. Hopefully your Mega Man 9 tournament match went super well, man. All right, but here's a Wily Stage. Much like Big John's earlier run, when we're in the later stages, the end game stages, our weapon reserves do not refill from stage to stage. So not only are we going to get a sort of M tank, which refills all of our energy and our life later in the stages, but we're going to be extremely conscious of what we what sort of energy resources that we waste. But in sort of like classic homage to Mega Man 2 fashion, Wily 1 stage not only has banging music, but it also kind of compels you to use a lot of the weapons and items that you gained in your original journey. Like those little platforms, you're supposed to be using like the T-blow and all that stuff. But again, the weapon reserves do not refill from stage to stage, so we kind of have to be careful of that. But we got like Rush Coil anyway, and that's a big item.
That's also kind of an important mechanic to be mindful of, is if Blacktastic isn't using that, if he isn't using the coil and it sits on the ground, he effectively just has a buster that he can use at will until that coil goes away.
And much like Deucer was touching on at the beginning of the run, originally Proto Man is only limited to 2 buster shots on the screen at once. However, due to maybe like some oversight or maybe just like a stealth buff, but whenever you have the Proto Jet or Proto Coil equipped, you are allowed 3 instead of the 2 for Proto Man. So we're going to be keeping a Proto weapon or Proto item equipped for this upcoming boss. There we go.
Are we just going straight buster? Or?
It's going straight buster.
All right.
These are the spike pushers. Push the spikes into the spike pushers. Do not touch the spikes. I mean, it's pretty easy.
It's potentially the best boss design that any Mega Man game has ever conjured. Everyone loves it. Anyone who's played the game has ranted and raved about what a great design it is.
And it's gonna wait. There we go. Yeah, once they are done, they'll try to like shoot you out, like otherwise.
Yeah, as the spike reaches all the way across the room, they switch up their actual weapons.
All right, but yeah, that's good. That's good. Didn't get hit. We got Wily 2 coming up next. Wily 2 is probably like one of like the funner stages of the end game. Still kind of forcing you to do a lot of the tinkering with your weapons, but since we know the right ones to use, that won't be a problem. We are the robots, another big thing. Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
There's some pretty unique stage mechanics here. Actually, you're going to see some like cinema-type robots that are kind of putting out fake blocks, but the actual structure doesn't change. They're just put there to fool you. So instead of having to wait for those, which you generally do casually to see where blocks are, Blacktastic just has a pretty good layout of the stage, so he just rips through. Come on, snipe.
Wow.
Show.
Give me that
this for
sweet
safety.
concrete block. Funnest jump in the game.
Did not trust that at all.
Bro.
Coming up as another Godflower.
Bro.
Dog. Dog. Another good Godflower. I mean, come on, guys. We're not even out of the woods as opposed to like dying. Yeah, look at all these spikes and all that stuff. Like there's still grounds for extinction of our good robot exterminator.
This is the level casually that I think people really mess up on. The water section, these really tight jumps with spikes. It's not fun.
Especially this leap of faith right here.
Oh,
it's real, like going there casually as like Mega Man. Like it is like one of the scariest jumps.
Yeah, that slide jump he just did looked super chill, but it's not. That thing's super frustrating, and you'll see top runners often go up to that and slide and be.
Yeah. In one of my very first marathon performances of this game, I was like super scared, so I like tried to tiptoe, and even then I just like misjudged and failed. I need handles.
Can someone get him an arcade stick?
Oh, boy.
All right, so not only does Wily have 3 phases, but this particular shark, Mega Mech Shark, has 3 phases. So we're just going to be going down the line. We're going to be using the Trident, not because like it's his weakness or anything, but it deals a lot of damage like right off rip, and there's a lot of Trident in that usage. Let me get these wiggles off. Wiggle.
Nice wiggles.
Shout out to Sonic Man.
Yeah, that's not a very small jump or a long jump. It's kind of in between, and he just has to dance back and forth with dodging those spikes.
That was a
nice fight.
That was a good fight.
That's a clap-worthy fight right there, man.
The people expect it, you know? It's like, all right, yeah.
So coming up to Wily 3, there's not really like much that's like going on. There's a couple of like auto-scroller like type stages. There is a kind of pivotal moment towards the end of the stage. 1, we are going to be grabbing the M tank, which refills a lot of our weapon reserves. 2, what's also good about this stage? I don't think about much of anything.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We'll
So casually during the end of this stage, there are a lot of these like gotcha 1-ups. These little like the little Met monsters that disguise themselves as 1-ups, and there's this like little long and winding road, and you're thinking, yo, if I really get to this is gonna be a 1-up. I get to fight, Wily and all that stuff. Nope, it's just another Met. Another Met.
There's some sections in this stage that, if you don't know about proper weapon usage, are a complete nightmare. So you'll see as TheBlacktastic goes through these. Then the intentional damage boosting to get through the Sniper Joes. If you sit and gun those guys down, it takes forever. You also see him jump at the beginning of these, and that's simply just to start a little bit higher on the screen when he transitions so that it doesn't take quite as long. And you can tell the mechanic here is whatever direction you shoot, kind of the force or the recoil from the Buster pushes you back. So the intention is that you have to weave in and out all these spikes, but obviously when you play the game like Bobby does, and you're all good.
What the?
Just wanted you to see that one more time.
There we go, those little gotcha Mets.
Here's the T-blow section we were discussing, and you can see that he basically has invulnerability through the enemies when they're getting lifted into the air, but dancing around on those single block tiles, trying to bust those guys down, ain't no joke.
Now coming up next is something I have to have a little bit of like serious time for, just because like I need audio cues. But this is a Twin Devil, and we're gonna be showing you a little bit of how to abuse the black hole bomb. Because normally when you shoot it out, just kind of like all willy-nilly like this, it stays out there for a while. Oh boy, that's fine.
We good.
It's just the start of the fight.
Let's go, Bobby.
We're just explaining the devil.
I'm explaining the devil. But like, you guys don't look at John the wrong way when he kills Steve 20 times.
Hey, I shot him. I run too accidentally. Okay, so it's all right.
As intended. We got full health. I mean, like, look at that.
It's all good, man.
Anyways, we got this. Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's how you do it. Let me get a donation. I gotta get the spirits lifted.
All right, nice work. So we've got a $5 donation from Science Seahorse. Thank you very much for that. And $5 from Gloida, who says, doing big things out here. Shout out to TheBlacktastic. Glad I got to watch one of your runs, homie.
Appreciate you guys. Gloida, the Falco. All right, so this is the last one. And not only are we going to be doing the 8 Robo Refight Gauntlet, but we're going to be having to do Wily too. So it's like, it's a lot. It is a lot that you're going to be doing in this particular stage, like by itself. Which is why we needed like extra conscious usage of our weapons and how much we had them and all that stuff. I'm actually foregoing using the M tank until after this Galaxy Man fight, because if he gives me 2 swoops, I have just enough left over to kill him, and then I can M tank for a little bit of phase 2 Wily stuff. Oh, well, never mind.
It's important that he maintains this concrete shot because it is the Wily machine's weakness, and it's way, way faster to use it. And it's definitely not intuitive how you have to use it, and having as much energy as possible is ideal.
So that's good, and then we're just going to be going pretty much clockwise throughout the rest of the stages.
Yeah, these are just a rehash, and the reason that this game is so luck dependent. When you hear us talking about RNG, we're just discussing luck, but every single time you fight the enemies or the robot masters in their stage, they give you a pattern, and when you drop into the capsules to fight them. So this is ideal for Tornado Man.
Nope.
Maybe not. I was being like really optimistic.
Same.
But so when you're at a high level in this game, if you get a bad pattern from Galaxy Man or from Tornado Man, that could just mean the run's over for you, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, but like the no swoop of Galaxy Man wastes a total up to like 7.5 seconds. So I mean, times that by 2 if you get that during a refight, and you are in for a huge deficit on your pace.
You also notice that Bobby switched to the Magma Bazooka and actually gunned down Magma with it. It does the same amount of damage as Buster, and it saves him a menu going into the next boss right there. So just small optimization.
We can get a double hit here. No, that's fine. No. Got a couple more bosses to go.
Back to the splash.
Now hopefully we can get the quickie on her.
Bees!
Last you'll see of the bees.
Hey, you ain't gonna give him one on the capsule?
If I have to.
Concrete's trying to be a bro. Maybe not. I gotta just quit talking, dude.
It's all right. It's all right. All right. This is the final battle. We have to play a bit of catch the first phase. But this is why Trident is so good.
So when you do the Buster here, it takes 3 shots that you have to crack against the mouth before it does damage. But with that piercing ability that Bobby had mentioned earlier with the Trident, you can actually just go through and basically push it onto Wily. This pattern as well, he's just tracking him, so he stomps on this side so he can get a hit in right here. Nice.
There we go.
And also by jumping at the right time, he can manipulate that flame pattern so that he can stay over it.
Right, time's going to be on the final hit of Wily.
I got you here.
There you go. Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
So the casino here, Wily can be up top and make it so there you go.
Yep.
Like clockwork. He can literally do that basically forever. Literally, basically.
I don't want to get hit by that.
But yeah, if Wily's a bro, then you can do some damage.
Fine. You
All
get
right.
your one.
Yeah,
B!
there we
go.
B time! You get your one. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how the house always wins at the Wily Casino. Thank you guys so much for having me on for Mega Man 9 Proto Man mode. Hopefully you guys were entertained. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about Classic Mega Man or any Classic Mega Man speedrun, we do have a dedicated Discord for that. And then also stay tuned because we have Mega Man 10 by the actual Blue Bomber, by the actual producer, coming up next. So I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you very much, Blacktastic.